welcome to Marketing Live TV for this week, where you can engage in real life marketing live on the show. This week I'm going to talk about marketing automation and what is it, how can it help your business, and what the hell it's good for. So make sure that you stay tuned and watch what you... Oops, sorry, a bit of feedback there. Stay tuned and find out more about marketing automation and how it can help your business. All right, so for this week, marketing automation. Now, this is something that I personally pretty much do every single day, and refinement of this and tweaking and improving and doing it for different brands and that sort of thing. It is absolutely critical for the success of some businesses, especially some of the ones that I work with. Before we jump into that, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and if there's any of these channels, any of these social media channels that you're a part of, feel free to jump on, like the videos. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit the like button if you get something good out of it. Same on Facebook or on Periscope. And if you're on the other channels, just search for Marketing Live TV and follow us. It helps to basically keep this going, and also get some more followers, hopefully help people understand a bit more about marketing. So let's jump straight in and let's talk about what marketing automation is. So marketing automation is basically automated one-to-one communication based on a customer's interaction with you. So that's a lot, and it's complex, but it basically means when someone does something with you, you communicate them. There's an automated system that can communicate with them. So why would you even want to use marketing automation? Well, there's many reasons, but one of the main ones that is that it allows you to have a consistent and efficient communication with your customers. So consistent and efficient communication. And what that really means is that once you set up a communication and a communication flow, that you know it's always going to run, so that when a customer does a certain action, for example, they purchase on your website, they interact with you on your emails, they click through a link on an SMS, or they click through on an ad, that you have a consistent way that you can follow up with that customer that you expect would convert in the best manner. Now, that seems like a whole lot of work and effort, and it is, but what it means is scalability. So you know that once you've done it and you've set it up, that one person can do that, or 10,000 people can do that, and they will get a consistent customer experience. If you build it right, they get to know your brand, they get to know what your brand's all about, and you can build a relationship and build the lead from a cold lead that may know little about your brand through to a very warm lead that knows all about what you're about and thinks you may well have exactly what they need given whatever it is that you sell. So the next step is, what can be automated? So marketing, there's a whole raft of things that you can automate, and a whole raft of marketing activities. There's a number of key ones that you can automate, and the most simple one is emails. So emails, when someone performs an action, they go to your website, and an abandoned cart is a very, very traditional one where they log in, they go to your website, they look at a product, and then they go away. The following day, you then send them an email saying, hey, are you sure that you don't want this product? But if that didn't meet your needs, here's a couple of other products that might be similar to what you're looking for. That sort of thing is an automated campaign that can run on scale. Another marketing channel that can be automated is online advertising. So you can, after someone goes to your website, build a remarketing list based on a certain number of pages, show them a specific ad for a given number of times. If they don't interact with that ad, then show them a different ad, and then if they do interact with that ad, then based on where they go after that, show them something else. And that's a drip or behavior series that can be automated in a relatively simple but technical way, and it allows you to make sure that the message is relevant to the person and what they've done. So another couple of things that can be automated is if you have a CRM system, pushing them into and updating their lead status. That can be automated, so that if you have a sales team and a marketing team, let's just say you have a business that's big enough for both, then you can make sure that at certain points when the customer has performed a certain number of actions and they reach a certain customer score, or they've performed a number of actions, you can then push them into your CRM to then tell the sales team that they are a lead for them to consider in contacting. And then if they perform more actions, you can update their status to being a new lead, to being a warm lead, to being someone that needs to be contacted urgently because they're looking to buy. So there are a number of things that they're probably the main things that you can automate. There are others like SMS and push app messages and all that sort of thing, but we'll go with the main ones. So let's just take a step away from that, give your eyes a break from me for just a moment, and let's have a look at how some marketing automation flows look when they're developed. So we'll start with a fairly simple campaign one, and we'll just push this up. So here's a relatively simple campaign flow. Now what this would be is that you send an initial email, and then based on those that have opened that email, they go down a certain path. If they've opened and then clicked on your landing page, they then see a site, and they might then get a different email to someone who hasn't opened or someone who hasn't clicked. And then you follow the path, and there's a number of different communications that the customer gets depending on their what action they've performed. All right, so that's a relatively simple one. While it might look complex on paper, it actually is relatively simple, because basically if someone opens an email, clicks on the page, they get a follow-up email. Then if someone opens and clicks on the page and then clicks deeper in, they might get a different looking email. Now I'll go into some requirements for some of these more technical things a bit later, but let's have a look at another type of workflow for a marketing communications. There we go. Oh. Sorry, zoom out, and let's bring that one up a bit closer. All right. So this is a bit of an overview one, but this is a bit more complex, where there's a whole series of different communications based on initial trigger actions. So this is using a system called Green Rope. There's a whole heap of these sorts of systems, and I've just taken a snapshot of some of these just so that you've got an idea. But basically the process is the same, and that process is it's a 4-step process. Now with marketing automation, it's always try and keep it as simple as possible. Once you've got the objective and you know what you're trying to achieve, what is the trigger? So how are people going to start receiving this communication or series of communications? What are the rules? So if you may not want to get everyone who visits the landing page, you may only want, so let's just take a travel example, and you get all of your customers and they're visiting a landing page and they're looking for cruises to the South Pacific. Now you may want to go, great, let's take all the cruises, all the people that have visited that landing page as the trigger, and then you want to look at the rules. So the rules might be take all the people based in New South Wales and show them and follow them up with an email that says, hey, here's the South Pacific cruises from Sydney. And then you may have a different rule that says all the people from Brisbane then see hey, here's a South Pacific, here's all the deals to the South Pacific from Brisbane. So you can see that it's more personal to the customer based on what you know about them. They've visited the site, the trigger, and you know what the customer details are, so where they are based. So then the third part that I've just mentioned is the content. So what content are you going to give that person? Now in the example I just talked about, let's say that's delivered by email. So therefore you go, great, I'm going to show Brisbane to South Pacific cruises for the Brisbane people and Sydney South Pacific cruises for Sydney people. Done, easy. You've completed the first 3 steps, and then the 4th step and the last one to consider is the delivery method. So once you get down this path, you might say, right, we'll stick with email to start with, but that might not be the most effective given the particular customer. Now you may know that customer is younger and they would likely prefer a app push message, or if you have an app, or they might prefer an SMS message. So therefore you may say, great, you may split that level out, split those rules out, number 2, a level further, and say if they're Brisbane and they're aged under 20, then send them an SMS to say, here's the deal. If they're 22 and over, then send them an email. Then you may say that if everyone else who's not in the database or not logged in, push them to remarketing and put a display ad on into a remarketing list. So that then allows you to capture a vast number of people, but then personalize the message based on what you know about them and what you expect they will engage with most. Now you might even go a step further, if you can and will, to say, great, they're not engaging in emails, but they are engaging in an SMS, or they're vice versa, and you may do it based on behavior. That is getting far more technical than probably what we need to for this, but let's just roll with that for now. All right, so we've covered off what is marketing automation. We've covered off what can be automated and some examples, and then the fundamentals about what you need to do to set things up. So you need what's going to be the trigger, what are the rules, what are you going to show them, what content, and how are you going to deliver that content. Great. So lastly, and probably the hardest one, is what are the technical requirements to do all this? Now, you can, using some very, very technical ability, script all of this and connect free systems together to do all of these things. And it's possible, but it's very difficult. In most cases, the easiest and most efficient way, and remember, marketing automation is all about efficiency, is to utilize and pay for a marketing automation system. Now, these marketing automation systems range from relatively cheap to ridiculously expensive, but obviously with the expensive ones you get more functionality and you get additional benefits, and most of the time the user interface is easier and you can do the whole thing a lot quicker. So realistically, it comes down to budget. But, and this is the but, if you do these things, you should get more relevant and more higher qualified leads. You can warm your leads, you can build out your sales pipeline, and then therefore get more sales and afford to do this. Plus, there's advantages in terms of customer value. Now, I'll go through some examples in a second, but so let's just go back a step to some of the technical requirements, in that you do need to have, one, a website. Two, you need to have a lot of the time you need to have connected or integrated systems, meaning that you may need to connect your social channels, you may need to connect your display advertising network, you may need to connect your tracking data, and you may need to load tracking data onto your website. You also need an integrated email delivery system, and likely a content delivery system. So these are some things that are really highly technical, but there are systems out there that you can purchase that do all of it for you. And as I said, some of them are expensive, but some of them are not so much, depending on what you need. All right, so a whole heap of information covering the topic of marketing automation. So what are some examples of marketing automation in practice? How do you do it? How do people do it? And what the hell is it that they do? So one of the most simple ones is a birthday campaign. So birthday emails that are triggered on people's birthday. When you know that, you know it's coming up, you send them an email saying, hey, it's your birthday coming soon, here's 10% off, use this promo code, and off you go. You may even say, coming into your birthday, hey, it's coming into your birthday, here's a promo code valid up until 10 days after your birthday, feel free to use the promo code. And then if that promo code hasn't been used, you may then take it a step further and say, just a reminder, your birthday, here's 10% off for your birthday. That's a simple example of an automated campaign, because 365 days a year, someone's going to have a birthday, and rather than every day you going and sending it manually, you can set it up and let it run. That's how marketing automation works effectively. So another example is an onboarding or welcome series. So when someone signs up to you to get more information from you, they're interested in something, they've downloaded a white paper, or they've signed up for a special offer. Great, you send them a welcome email, hey, thanks for joining us, here's your whatever it is, and then say that they've signed up for a white paper on, well, one of the good examples before is breeding giraffes. So say someone's signed up and they're interested in breeding giraffes, you then send a follow-up email saying, hey, did you know we have great photos about giraffes, and a link to all the photos that you have on giraffes. And they go, oh, great. Then all of a sudden you become known as a place to go for giraffes. And then a week later you send them another email saying, did you know the best place to go and view giraffes is X. And then all of a sudden, you keep building that until they come to a point where they want to buy something that it is that you offer. And then at that point, you're the place that they go to. So there are some examples of how you can use marketing automation. Another one that is relatively useful is a re-engagement campaign. So when someone has not engaged with your brand for a while, and you then trigger a communication to them to say, hey, we've missed you, is there something that you could do, here's a discount, here's a bonus, here's some value adds for you to sort of come back and revisit our site and remember the relationship that we had, for example. And then that gets them re-engaged. They then recognize your brand, keeps you front of mind, and that's an objective. So great. Well, that is it for this week. I've covered off marketing automation as much as I think I can within a short period of time. Make sure that if you are interested in any more marketing automation or any marketing advice, feel free to send me a message on any of these channels, and I will bring that into the show list for 2018. If there's any other detail that you'd like, jump on Marketing Live TV and send us an email at info@marketinglive.tv, but make sure that you like the videos and share on your social media channels so that we can get more publicity. Anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.